Hey there, science fans. Today, we're diving into the incredible world of DNA. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It is found inside almost every cell in our bodies. DNA is like a blueprint. It contains all the instructions to build and run a living thing. Imagine a giant instruction manual, but instead of words, it uses a special code. This code is written in the language of chemicals. These chemicals are called bases. There are 4 different bases in DNA: adenine, A, thymine, T, guanine, G, and cytosine, C. The order of these bases is what determines the instructions. Think of it like the alphabet. The order of letters makes different words. In DNA, the order of bases determines the instructions for building different proteins. Proteins are the workhorses of our cells. They do all sorts of important jobs. So, DNA is like a master plan, guiding the creation and function of every single one of us. It's pretty amazing, don't you think? Now let's talk about the famous double helix structure of DNA. Imagine a ladder twisted into a spiral shape. That's pretty much what DNA looks like. The sides of the ladder are made up of sugar and phosphate molecules. The rungs of the ladder are made up of the bases we talked about earlier, A, T, G, and C. Here's the interesting part. A always pairs with T and G always pairs with C. They fit together like puzzle pieces. These pairs are held together by weak bonds called hydrogen bonds. That's why we call it a base pair. This pairing is very important. It ensures that when DNA replicates, each new copy has the correct sequence of bases. This helps prevent errors in the genetic code. So the double helix structure of DNA is not just beautiful, it's also incredibly functional. Now that we know what DNA looks like, let's see how it makes copies of itself. This process is called DNA replication, and it's essential for life. Think of it like this. Every time a cell divides, it needs to make a copy of its DNA for the new cell. That way, both cells have a complete set of instructions. Here's how it works. First, an enzyme called helicase unwinds the double helix, like unzipping a zipper. This creates 2 separate strands of DNA. Next, another enzyme called DNA polymerase comes along. It reads each strand and adds the matching base pairs. So if it sees an A, it adds a T. If it sees a G, it adds a C. It's like a tiny molecular machine, copying the code as it goes along. Once both strands are copied, we have 2 identical DNA molecules. It's a remarkable process that ensures the accurate transmission of genetic information from one generation of cells to the next. Section 4, from DNA to proteins. The fascinating journey of gene expression. DNA is the blueprint of life, but it doesn't actually do the work of building and running a cell. That's where proteins come in. Proteins are the workers of the cell. They carry out all sorts of functions, from digesting food to fighting off infections. But how does DNA provide the instructions to make these proteins? This is where things get really interesting. The process is called gene expression, and it involves 2 main steps: transcription and translation. Think of it like this. DNA is like a cookbook, and proteins are like the delicious dishes. Transcription is like copying a recipe from the cookbook. In this step, the DNA sequence of a gene is copied into a molecule called messenger RNA, or mRNA. mRNA is like a messenger carrying the genetic code from the DNA in the nucleus to the ribosomes in the cytoplasm. Translation is like using the recipe to cook the dish. In this step, the mRNA molecule is read by the ribosome, which uses the information to assemble amino acids into a protein. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So DNA holds the code, mRNA carries the message, and ribosomes build the proteins. It's a complex and elegant process that highlights the incredible power of our genetic code. Section 5. Fun facts about DNA. Prepare to be amazed. Get ready to have your mind blown. Here are some fun facts about DNA that will make you appreciate the wonders of science even more. Did you know that if you stretched out all the DNA in your body, it would reach to the sun and back over 600 times? That's a lot of DNA. And speaking of long, the human genome, which is the complete set of DNA in a human cell, contains about 3 billion base pairs. That's like having a library with 3 billion letters. But here's the really cool part. We share about 99.9% of our DNA with each other. That means we are all more alike than we are different, despite our unique appearances and personalities. And get this, scientists have been able to extract DNA from ancient fossils like woolly mammoths and Neanderthals. This allows us to learn more about the evolution of life on Earth and our place in the grand scheme of things. Section 6. The importance of DNA, a universe within. DNA is often called the blueprint of life, and for good reason. It contains all the information needed to build an organism, from its physical traits to its susceptibility to certain diseases. Understanding DNA and how it works has revolutionized many fields. In medicine, DNA analysis is used to diagnose genetic disorders, develop new treatments, and even prevent diseases from being passed down from one generation to the next. In forensics, DNA profiling has become an indispensable tool for solving crimes and identifying suspects. It's like having a genetic fingerprint that can link individuals to a crime scene with incredible accuracy. And in agriculture, scientists are using DNA technology to develop crops that are more resistant to pests, diseases, and harsh environmental conditions. This has the potential to increase food production and improve the lives of millions of people around the world. Section 7, Keep Exploring. The Adventure of Science continues. So there you have it, an overview of the amazing world of DNA. We've learned about its structure, its function, and its importance in our lives, but this is just the beginning. Science is a journey of endless discovery, and there is still so much more to learn about DNA and the secrets it holds. Who knows what amazing breakthroughs await us in the future? So keep asking questions, keep exploring, and never stop being curious about the world around you. Because science is not just about memorizing facts, it's about understanding the universe and our place in it.